Hey, Boaz here with Next Pittsburgh. We're here at the PennDOT District Office to check out the Traffic Management Center. To tell us what's happening here, we've got Stephanie. Stephanie, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for coming and seeing our operation. My name's Stephanie Zolnak. I'm the district traffic engineer for District 11. We cover Allegheny County, Beaver County, and Lawrence County.
Oh my gosh, well, I'm excited when to go through the doors.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our Western Region Traffic Management Center. So we cover 4 PennDOT districts, not just the one you're in today. Our Traffic Management Center operates 24/7, 365 days a year. So you can tell we're very festive because our folks do work on the holidays too. So I'm just going to walk you into our conference center, and this is a great view of our operations.
Oh my gosh, I just want to get a little closer here because this is crazy. We're just looking at screen after screen after screen of various highways, essentially.
Yes, so this is as much camera coverage as we have from Erie all the way down to West Virginia line. Our folks are looking at more of a regional perspective.
And then I'm looking at everyone's individual screen and they have more cameras up and like maps. It's like, to me, this is just like a mosaic. Like, how do you make sense of this?
They can pull up information about any corridor that we have coverage on, and then they can push information out to the public as you're driving down the road. And you might think, oh, I need to move over because maybe there's a crash on the side of the road, and we're actually incentivizing folks to go ahead and move over and provide a little space for that person, and also incident response. And when we come in here, we're usually a little bit cautious because they're taking phone calls from the public, from local police, incident response, also construction projects. And then we put that information into PA 511, and it's a great tool for the public to get in and find out information on the spot.
So I guess give me like a little like play-by-play. So like what is a potential situation that someone might identify like on one of these screens?
Yeah, absolutely. So we might get a phone call from the public or from incident response, or we might be looking at some of the traffic cameras just in the area on our mapping systems and see that there's a slowdown. We find out what the reason for that slowdown is. Maybe there's a work zone, and we have to put that information in for the public so that they know that they're approaching a work zone and to proceed with caution. Maybe they need to detour and get around that.
So how would you do that? Like, okay, let's say you look on there and there's like a truck's on fire. Like, who do you call? What happens?
First thing that they're going to do is they push that camera image up to this Pennsylvania State Police video feed, and that goes directly to one of the PSP barracks that are local that can respond. So that can help response much faster.
And so what's a barrack?
Oh, the barracks are just the locations, kind of like how we have a district office. They have barracks that take care of certain regions.
What's like the weirdest thing that's ever happened? Like, oh, we got a family of 15 bears and they're blocking a highway. Like, have you ever had anything like that?
There's always something, wild going on. But I know the last time something crazy happened, we had a truck rollover. The truck driver was okay, which was great, but he spilled a load of cabbage. It was all over the roadway, and we all kind of were laughing, should we run out and get that so we can make some halushki? Obviously, we're Pittsburghers. But yeah, we said, well, we should probably keep an eye on whether or not there's going to be a lot of deer hit around that area when they're trying to munch on that. So
I didn't even think about that. Right, you could be attracting a ton of deer. Wow, gosh,
Yeah,
that
so
can be a weird job sometimes.
that one was a weird one. Of course, it was, a big traffic disruption because you got a tractor trailer on their side and you've got all this debris. But it did take a few hours to clean up, then get a tow truck, pull them from the roadway.
And so how like tight can you get in on some of these shots?
We can zoom in pretty closely. I mean, so close that we have to start limiting the camera views that even the public sees, because, sometimes it's sensitive. We don't want people to see. But I'll just show you an example. We can go ahead and have one of our operators who is now zooming in on some traffic backup congestion, pretty typical for this time of day. We're getting closer to rush hour here in the midday.
And it looks like this camera is right above the Fort Pitt Tunnel.
Yes, it is. A few years ago, I know we had a railroad derailment. We were able to zoom down on East Carson Street and take a look at that too.
Have you ever had like a bird just like sit right in front of the camera?
Yeah, we do.
This guy's nodding over here. He's like, yeah, that
Time
happens.
to time that happens.
Have you ever just like discovered something weird or like a crime going on? You're like, oh my gosh, someone's pulling a lot of like expensive equipment out of that boat. We got to call someone.
We have seen some very interesting things. I know one of our construction projects, they had some things stolen off of their site, and they said, hey, can you keep an eye on that? We want to make sure people aren't swiping things from us. So while that's not our primary mission, it's definitely something we kept an eye on for them.
Wow, that's wild.
You can see over here, there's some of these travel map delays, and there's a lot of green, which is great on his other screen. But there is some red when you're coming in and out of the tunnels, of course.
Oh yeah, here we're right outside another tunnel over here.
Squirrel Hill Tunnel, another infamously congested area in the morning and afternoon commutes.
You ever catch are you ever able to see the tunnel monster coming in or out?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff you don't share with the public.
If we could catch them, that would be great. I think it would help us tremendously.
And is winter the craziest time of the year just because of potential ice and, snowstorms?
Well, at PennDOT, we have construction season and we have winter. And that's about it. Sometimes construction season ebbs into winter, but we try not to do that too often. It is pretty crazy when we have storms. In this area, people need to get to and from locations. We got a lot of hospitals, we got a lot of colleges, people that need to get to their destinations. So we got to keep that moving. Speaking of winter operations, we are always well prepared. And I just wanted to show you the room that we have our incident command center, and we have personnel working in here when we do have big weather storms that are coming in. This information is all up to date from our traffic management center operators inputting this information. It'll tell you about truck restrictions, car restrictions for the winter, when they're going to be impacted, if there's any closures. But really what we're doing here in the incident command center when the storms do hit is getting information and feeding information on whether or not we're ahead of things. Do we need some help in one area? Do we need to shift resources from Allegheny County to Beaver County?
And over here, you even have these whiteboards of all the different counties. So it's like you can plan little football maneuvers or something on here. Okay, we need more plows in Newcastle. How do we get them from Sewickley? Or is there you drawing little arrows on here?
Exactly what we do, actually. So we have a lot of dry race markers, and we go up and we go ahead and highlight things. Hey, we have a restriction here. This is starting to get congested and we're getting a lot of snow, so we want to slow down the speeds on this corridor.
Okay, where are we going now?
Okay, we're off to our media partner room. So I'm going to walk you in here.
Oh my gosh, it's like a little radio studio or something.
Yes. So when our traffic management center was originally constructed in 1996, which is quite some time ago, about 30 years or so, we had this room space for KDKA, who worked very closely with our TMC operators. If they had a caller that said, hey, there's an incident in the roadway, since we didn't have a lot of cameras, they fed us information and vice versa.
And so how did you get into this line of work?
I was a civil engineer by trade. I graduated with that, and I wanted to do public service, and this is a great opportunity.
So with all your experience, do you never get stuck in traffic just because you sort of know how everything works?
I always get stuck in traffic. That's why I think I'm the most passionate, at least in my family. It's because I drive the furthest. And I love to ride my bike, and I love to walk places, and I love taking the T. And I'm just really passionate about transportation in general and making sure people can get around.
Well, Stephanie, thanks so much for the tour. This was eye-opening and really just cool to see how many miles of roadway you're just constantly monitoring. It's wild.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just getting, more and more intelligent systems. So maybe we won't be deploying, all the bells and whistles we might have done years ago, but everything that we do deploy is going to be done intelligently, as advanced as possible so we can get the best information out. So thank you so much for coming. It's just something that I think is really exciting, and I know our folks are really passionate about their jobs.